Life. Today we're going to talk all about North Coast Music Festival and how to prepare, so let's dive right in. If you're new here, hi and welcome. I'm Ashley, I'm a rave mom and mom in real life, and I create content around raves and festivals, my family life, and fitness. Today we're going to dive right into a guide for North Coast Music Festival, and you know how we do, so if you haven't already seen the Lollapalooza Music Festival guide, I'm going to be separating it into the same sections as I did for Lollapalooza to give you an idea and give you kind of a 360 view of how you should prepare for this festival. The North Coast Music Festival is going to take place Labor Day weekend, and this will be the second year that it is going to be taking place in Bridgeview. Typically, it took place downtown Chicago, but last year was its first year at the SeatGeek Stadium. So by them moving, it gave them a huge opportunity to expand, to have a bigger stage, to have multiple stages. So I'm gonna dive right into how you can prepare, transportation, what you should wear, and all of that jazz. I don't know what I got on me. Number one, let's talk about what you should bring. So Music Festival is a mixed EDM genre festival. You're gonna see everything from house to maybe a little bit of trance to your bass music, and there are multiple stages, and it is gonna be on a smaller scale. I've heard that it's kind of similar to a Imagine Music Festival or even a Spring Awakening Festival, not as big as an EDC or even an EDC Orlando, but it is a medium-sized festival, so you will need your festival essentials. I would recommend bringing a hydration pack if you can. They do have water fill-in stations there. Now, last year they were very hard to find, but they actually are situated right in front of the SeatGeek Stadium. I'm gonna put up a map this year just so you can see kind of where everything is, so you can easily fill up your hydration pack. Even if you don't use the actual hydration pack and you just go and get drinks throughout the weekend, I think it was actually great to have a hydration pack. I brought my trusty handy lunchbox that I always have with me, and it was really helpful to have that for storage, just to have all the essentials there for me, and everything that I needed throughout the week, especially because the weather that weekend did go up and down. Some days it was chilly and kind of cloudy and rainy, and other days it was nice and hot. So that way you're prepared for the entire weekend. What do I have in my hydration pack, you ask? So I brought fan, especially for those hotter days. It was perfect. I also have those trusty things like lip balm, gum. Make sure everything is factory sealed. They will throw it out. There were a couple of times where we actually ended up going back to the car because we didn't want to throw out our good lipstick, so make sure that you bring something that's factory sealed in. A pashmina was really handy for this. I also had my jean jacket because, like I said, there were moments where I did get cool, especially in the evening times. And right now, if you think about what the weather forecast is going to be, I'll put it up right here down at the bottom.
Hi guys, this is Editing Ash here. Just wanted to let you know that the forecast has changed since I've actually recorded this video. We're looking at the mid-80s, all weekend sunny, beautiful weather. Also, please make sure that you check the prohibited items list on the festival's website. Last year, a lot of friends got their totems, even some of their hoops and their whips thrown away. So it is subject to change. Make sure that you're checking that out.
But at night, it might drop down to 60s and below, so you may want to have something just in the event that you get a little chilly. Do you need to like prepare for a festival like this? No, I don't think you need everything under the sun in your hydration pack, but it is nice to have some things like wet wipes, hand sanitizer. I know the hand sanitizer stations kind of ran out last year. I already mentioned your pashmina, your fan, things of that nature to bring with you. So I would say those are, the standard festival items, and for this festival, I would say that you would need those things. What to wear? So this is a full EDM festival, which means that you can go all out, you can get raved out. If you want to go casual and not that much, not dressed up as much, you certainly can. But I would say that all is welcome here. It is definitely different than the vibe that you're gonna have at ARC Music Festival, and I'll go into detail about that in another video. But this is gonna be more rave focused. You know, you might see some people in streetwear, but I would say it's gonna be more rave focused than maybe a Lollapalooza, like that's more streetwear, or ARC, as I mentioned before. So feel free to go all out. Relita Couture, I saw all over the place. The Light Couture, all of those beautiful rave brands the girls were wearing. It was definitely, you know, you could see the season fashion from the rave community kind of in full force. All right, how is the venue set up? So there are 4 stages, and there's a couple of smaller stages, I believe, sprinkled throughout. The main stage is gonna be right in the stadium, in SeatGeek Stadium. That's where you're gonna see your mainstream acts. Then you have the Vega, which kind of goes back and forth depending on the day between bass music and house. So make sure you check that schedule, because it'll kind of tell you what the vibe is gonna be like at the Vega. It's a beautiful stage. It has some LED screens. I saw Lane 8 at this stage, and it was magic, pure magic. And then my favorite stage is the Canopy stage, and that usually has house music. There's AstroTurf out there, and you can, you know, sit down. We would eat. There's even like a VIP section area, lounge over there, and it's a good vibe. It's called the Canopy because there's a structure that goes from the stage all the way out over the AstroTurf. In between all of that, there's a lot of gravel, so I would say that all my rave mamas out there, with your platforms, make sure that you're very, very careful. You don't want to sprain your ankle out here. You know, wear comfortable shoes, just because there is gravel on part of the area where you're gonna be. Closer to the main section in the stadium, it's all concrete, so you should be fine over there. And there's 2 entrances. There is one entrance by the prepaid parking, and then there is another entrance by the paid day of parking. And in between all of that, you'll see that there's gonna be kind of like a street of vendors. There's also food vendors on the street, as well as merch and all of those goodies. So I would say most of the time that I spent, if you're a house head, I spent at the Vega. Or the Canopy, actually, a little bit at the Vega depending on the day, and then I spent the evening, if it was a house act, in the main stage. But most of my time it was spent actually at the Canopy, which was a beautiful, beautiful stage. So kind of understanding some of the other areas. I know that they had a cooling center. It actually was not necessary for the weekend because the weather was really nice. It wasn't too hot. But in there they had a really cool, like, kind of laser show. I'll try to pop up some footage of that here. You can go in if you just want to relax, you kind of want to take a break from the music and just chill out with your fam. You can go in there and do that. They also have art installations spread out. There was one in the middle between the stages of Canopy and Vega that I really, really liked last year. It's really cool to check that out. And I believe that there's a smaller stage there. I'll pop up the look and the feel of it this year. That's really interesting too. My guess is it might be more bass house or bass music focused, but it does look like it'll be a new feature. So there are going to be some new attractions this year that you might want to check out. All right, getting in. So getting in is pretty easy, I would say, on day 1. Day 2, not so much. So day 1, I think a majority of the people would come in on the side of the prepaid parking, so the lines were really long. So it was actually a secret to get in on the opposite side, which is the unpaid parking. That's the side that we came in on the first day, and we got in and out. There was no line whatsoever. I think maybe, you know, probably 5 to 10 minutes, and we were in. They check your bag, you unzip everything, depending on the security, just like at any other festival. It'll depend on how thorough they are. You will go ahead and scan in your wristband and get in. Obviously last year, because of COVID, there was a vaccine requirement. This year there is not, so you don't have to worry about them checking your vaccine card. Now, like I said, Friday, I don't think people really knew about that entrance, so we got in really easily. Saturday was a different story. We started out actually on the paid parking side, so we actually parked on that side. The line was long, so we decided to walk all the way around the stadium and get it on the other entrance. And then we saw the line and it was wrapped around. We actually ended up having to stay in that line. Luckily, they did try to fast track some of the females, so we were able to get into a separate line. We got in, but it did take us, I think, about 45 minutes to an hour to get in. So take that in consideration, specifically on Saturday and Sunday. I would say to maybe check out the back entrance on the other side where the parking lots are. And that would be the unpaid parking first, and then you can always walk around the stadium and go onto the main entrance if you feel like the time is a little bit too long for you. So in terms of food and beverage, as I mentioned, there is a really good variety of things there. Right when you walk into the stadium, you're gonna see to your right a whole line of different vendors. There were pizza. I know Connie's Pizza was there. I know there was noodles. There was Chinese food. There was also kind of like a Korean fusion that was really good. They had these like Korean barbecue tacos that were straight fire. And then if you were to, as soon as you walk in, go even further to the right, there were also some food trucks over there. I think they also had another pizza venue. I think, yeah, it's Bocce's Pizza, and then they also had some other food trucks over there. In terms of food costs, you know, I mean, it's festival food. It's always escalated. The tacos that we got 2 tacos, and I believe that was $8, but honestly, I could have eaten those every single day. They were so good, so flavorful. To me, it was worth the money. In terms of drinks, it was ridiculous. First off, when I went, I was preggo. I was early on in my pregnancy. No one really knew that I was pregnant. So I was trying to look like, you know, like not tell people what was going on with me. But I didn't really have a choice between water and alcohol. There was nothing in between. There was no just regular refreshments. You know, if I wanted a Gatorade or just a soda or anything like that, they had no non-alcoholic beverages, which, okay, I get it. It's a festival. People go to drink. But if you need just some nourishment, just something refreshing, that's hard, other than water. It would have been nice to have some variety. The other controversy that there was is that they had these pina colada stands that were supposed to have alcohol in them, and then come to find out people were spending all this money on pina coladas and they put no rum in them at all. People were livid about that, and I think they were charging like something between $12 to $14 for a pina colada each that were supposed to have rum in them. The rum, I guess, either was water and posing as rum, or they watered it down significantly, and it was a whole controversy last year. So just know, I would say, watch the pina coladas. They may not have any alcohol in them at all. Same thing with the vodka lemonades. The first day, there was literally no vodka. My mom actually got a vodka lemonade. It was, I think, Tito's vodka lemonades, and she's like, there's nothing in here. The second day, she got one, and she said that they definitely included it. So just watch to see how they're skimming on the alcohol and plan accordingly in terms of your budget. Like I said, $12 to $14 around that price for the pina coladas. And lastly, the final category is planning your day. The beauty about this festival is that it is a good size, but it's not like you can't jump from stage to stage. So if you are at the Canopy or at the Vega, or you're unhappy, it's very easy to move around. It doesn't take you that long to move around from stage to stage. So you don't really need to plan a schedule per se. You can jump around. So I even split sets. There was a Green Velvet Don Dalla set that I went to, and I've seen Green Velvet and Don Dalla a lot, so I wanted to check out Lane 8, spent some time at Lane 8, came back to Green Velvet. and I was able to split the set between there. So I do encourage you to explore and move around. In terms of you know, even going to the main stage, it's really easy to go in there. They have seating because it's a stadium, which is really nice. That's one of the things that I love about this venue, and it's actually something that I miss about Spring Awakening because they used to have it at Soldier Field, and that really is a benefit, to be able to sit if you need to, or just hang out and chill and still watch the show is a really big benefit for me. I think the biggest thing about planning out your day is going to be the line and the wait to get in, because as I mentioned, it took about an hour 45 minutes to get in the second day, and if you want to see a certain artist, you have to take into account how long it's going to take for you to park and also get in. Otherwise, you're going to miss a set. We actually missed a big part of Marshall Jefferson, which is one of my favorite kind of gospel classic Chicago house DJs. We missed most of his set because we were sitting in line, and we did not expect for that to happen, because the previous day it took us like 0.5 minutes to get in. So just take that into consideration. Give yourself a little bit of padding so that you can get in. But other than that, I think that the good thing about this venue is you do have the freedom to move around. So if that's desired, I think that North Coast is a great festival. It's a great way to explore different genres of EDM because you do have a mixed genre festival. In terms of transportation, there is shuttles available, and I believe they're still available on the North Coast website. I personally would recommend driving there. This is not a festival that is in the heart of Chicago. You do not have access to the CTA. There are Pace buses out there, but especially when the show is, or when the festival ends, which is around 10 o'clock, close to 11, there aren't going to be a lot of Pace buses that are going to be in operation in that area. So I would recommend to drive there. You can either buy parking on the website, or they'll have parking on site, so no worries there. There were people who Ubered there, but I heard that especially after the show, there were long lines to get an Uber, and it took a long time for either their Ubers to find them or for them to even get an Uber because of peak time. So I would recommend, if you are gonna Uber, maybe leave a little bit earlier than the actual festival ends so that you can get to your Uber in enough time, or like I said, drive. So if I were to go again this year, I would definitely drive. And moving forward, if I ever go back to North Coast, that would kind of be my my transportation of choice. It is near, I believe, Midway, so you could take the Orange Line all the way to Midway and then take an Uber from there to cut the cost a little bit if you live in the city. So that's an option as well. I hope that you found this video helpful. I'm so excited for everyone who's going to North Coast. The lineup looks like it's fire. Unfortunately, I won't be at North Coast this year because I'm going to ARC for the full shebang, for the full 3 days. I'm doing VIP. I'm really excited, but I'm so excited also for my Chicago fam going to North Coast, or if you're coming and traveling here. As I said, I'm a huge advocate for Chicago music festivals, and I'm loving that the culture and the events that we're getting here are growing. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you have a good time. If you have any more questions about North Coast Music Festival, make sure you comment down below. Tell me who you're excited to see, and I will answer your questions as soon as I can. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you click that subscribe button to get more content around Chicago music festivals. I love you so much, and as I always say, positive self, positive wealth.